Yeah, God body is definitely my connection to my divinity. Like I said, Wu Tang baby, Nations of Gods and Earth baby. Like I was taught all my philosophies, and they definitely guide me. That's definitely how I navigate through the world.
You know your mathematics and your alphabets?
Yeah, I learned all of that.
I don't
I
know.
learned all of that. Yeah, I was raised in that. For me, I actually ended up in a Catholic school. It was crazy because I was never Catholic.
Mm.
Like I had denied
Your
like when I was
grandma's
around.
Catholic.
My grandmother's Catholic. My mother was Catholic up until she was about 16.
Yeah,
And she practiced pretty heavily until she started to step out on her own and kind of name what her faith was going to be.
yeah.
And she went to St. Saviour's in Brooklyn, and she also went to Bishop Lachlan.
Lachlan. Yeah,
So yeah,
everybody went to Lachlan.
so
Or
yeah, so her experiences were that she was the only black girl in her class for all of that time she was there. So being kind of marginalized, one was like, okay, well, damn, it's not even no black statues in here. It's no black saints that we're being taught about. So she started to kind of defect from the faith
Right.
and try to figure out her way. I would say my mother was a spiritual person, not really religious. I wasn't in church a lot. Shit, the most church I did was at Curly's.
at
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's funny because I don't know if you remember, I used to do morning prayers. Like
Mm.
when I got there in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So like when I was there on time, I used to get on the mic and do morning prayers. And it really that would be more my poetic edge. But I used to be writing prayers, kind of trying to be non-denominational and getting in trouble for it because I used to be like, well, we want to pray to the creator. And they used to be like, Jesus. And I'd be like, I said creator, but but then
you have to pray to
eventually,
Mary so she can intercede on your on.
right, they wanted me to dig as deep as possible. And I used to be like, look, I'm gonna give you the surface of what I can give you that's gonna work for you and work for me. But
Yeah, the math definitely wasn't mathing with that shit.
nah.
So
And then
when
we
y'all
went to
say
a
the
corrupt
math,
ass high school. Like, if I'm
Yeah,
real with you,
it
our
was
shit was
our
crazy.
shit was crazy. We had a without naming names, we
Oof.
definitely because one of them, a couple of them, staff members are on my Facebook.
Oh yeah. Same.
But yeah, we had a dean who
Yeah,
was
we could call that shit Degrassi. Okay, it was
yeah,
definitely all
real-
the drama, all the
yeah,
type of drama that you can imagine. But it was a really small school, so small community. Everybody knew everybody business.
yeah,
It wasn't really run by administrators that you would say were teachers that had these deep careers in teaching. It was like a lot of people who kind of it was a lot of people who kind of got into it through family because it was a family established school in the beginning. Like,
yeah.
archdiocese and then family related. We had teachers that were just like sisters and brothers and shit like that. So it was kind of crazy.
Oh, love and
But
romantic.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was drama. I spent half the time not in high school, and by the time you switched out, I definitely wasn't there. So I don't even know what was really happening at a certain point. Um,
You remember when I got kicked out
what did you get kicked out for though?
skipping class 3 months before
Uh,
senior? I mean, 3 months before graduation, I got kicked out. They made me. I was homeschooled for the last 3 months of high school.
mm,
see,
My mom used to have
yeah,
to go to school, pick up a thick
pick up
packet
homework.
every Friday, and turn the old packet in every Friday. It was definitely corrupt ass high school. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, it was bugged out. It was very money oriented. It was expensive ass tuition, so they really didn't give a shit about the students. But it is what it is. It don't exist no more.
mm.
So that says a
It's
lot
that
because
Hang on. So
it's torn down,
so
like
when
completely torn down, like it's dirt. It's
so
a
when
plot.
when y'all was saying the mathematics, are y'all talking about like I watched up on Wu Tang where they was going through the hood and then was they like Muslims or something, and
It's
then
five
yeah,
percent.
yeah, and then
they're
they
5%ers.
5%.
Yeah,
So like
when he
it's
was like Supreme Justice Allah and all of that, and he
yeah.
pulled Rizzo over to the side and was like, oh, this is what divinity is. This is what God body is. Yeah, that's
That's
my,
an offshoot of Islam. So
yeah. So my mother in Brooklyn at the time, and in New York, period, at the time, you had people that were making their own philosophy out of what they had learned from Islam. They really liked the organization of Islam, but they didn't like
mm-hmm,
some of the strict regulations.
right.
So they started to create basically their own faith that was structured around the idea of there being a cream, a cream that rises to the top of the most educated and
Right.
wise people. And so, my
Nah,
mom was watching that movement.
he got excommunicated.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Clarence X, he got
Clarence X. Yeah,
excommunicated from the nation. That's yeah, and he started his own shit.
yeah.
So
And
you are you
So
Islamic?
I'm
I practiced a lot of different
honest.
faiths.
Okay.
I practiced a lot of different faiths trying to find myself.
Okay.
But nah, I don't really ascribe to any because I found and this is the maybe the feminist in me, but I found that a lot of written faiths have a huge concern with suppressing women. And
Mm.
so any way that you kind of lean into it, you're gonna get, or you got to be somebody's seventh wife, or you got to be somebody's side or something on. It doesn't give you equality in a space that I believe women should have.
Right.
I'm not kind of in the belief set of like, okay, a woman is less than. And so
Right.
when it comes to faith that's written, for me, it's a little bit of like it's a little bit of a ick. But I try to be as informed because I never want to step into a space and offend anyone and
Right.
and and feel like I don't understand. I understand faith and I understand why people need faith. I understand why people practice religion. I get all that. I just have my very my views on life based on my experiences and also based on my experiences interacting with people that practice those things in almost an orthodox sense. So
yeah.
I've been around Islamic men that really like, yo, don't even look at me in my eyes. Well, I'm
Damn.
just like, damn, you know what I'm saying?
Too because
Yeah.
like for example, let's say okay, so Ted and I like so I'm studying or whatever because I'm about to
Mm,
take my shahada
mhm.
before Ramadan so I can actually
Mhm.
practice and hopefully make it through this time. I haven't had a successful Ramadan yet.
Mm.
Longest
Oh,
I lasted 2 weeks, but
Was
you
how
know,
long?
2 weeks.
Mm. And the Ramadan is that what like a, just when you fast? Like
Yeah, so
don't
from
eat nothing
sun up to
before 9?
sundown, you fast. You can't do anything that's haram. You can't eat, drink water, and you can't do anything that's haram.
it's
So
very
like
it's a
What does
beautiful
haram mean?
devotional period. It's really
it,
for a
it,
lot of spiritual clarity. It's really
it
strong.
does, and it lets you know that everything is mental because you literally like making it every day. Like no food, no water. It might be hot as shit outside. Like I mean, when it's cold outside, when it's colder outside, that shit is like a cakewalk. Especially when it gets darker earlier.
Hmm.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So it's like 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Sun is already down. You know what I'm saying? But now it's basically like you got to be up for sahur, make your food, do whatever you got to do, eat as much as you can, drink as much as you can before that sun comes up, and then you just spend the
Right.
whole day literally just like dedicating. Like I mean, you say your prayer, you pray, of course, you make your duas and everything, but you're fasting from food, drink, and everything that is haram.
Mm.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't feel like you should do anything that's haram after
Generally,
the sun
right.
goes down. But shit, people do it. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Right.
But like, so with Islam or whatever, like you have your 5 pillars or whatever. You have your shahada, which is like your declaration of faith. You have I'm not naming in any specific order, but you got your shahada, which is your declaration of faith. You got, of course, like your hajj, which is your pilgrimage to Mecca. So if you can afford to make the pilgrimage, you definitely got to make it.
Right.
You got your zakat, which is like your alms, which is like you giving like, so as opposed to like say for example, like in church, you know how you give your tithe, you give your offering.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like, let's say Nadi and I are both Muslimas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she like hits me up in like October and is like, yo, sis, like my car broke down. I'm fucked up. I need a band. Like if I have that to give her, or at least have some of that to give her, just to like give it to her, that's my zakat.
Mm.
Like you don't have to pay me back. type shit. If I can afford to give it to her, right?
Yeah, it's like a tie to your community. It's a
Yeah.
Mm.
to like building that family because in Islam, family is extremely important. Like, and community is almost, you know what I'm saying? Like, community is a pillar. Essentially, it's like you need that community to stay devoted to your faith. So it's really special. I do, you know, my reason for going into Islam when I did practice was because of the frequency of prayer. I felt like any faith that would make you really commit to just devoting time to make your duas was for me more alignment than what I was learning from Catholicism at the time when we were practicing in school. It's like we were praying kind of like as after the fact, like, okay, we're praying because we need something. Now,
Yeah.
when you're in Islam, you are praying daily. You know what I'm saying? You're making your prayers so frequently that you have to start making intentional prayers. It's not just, okay, I'm praying for something for myself. Now you're making prayers for people around you. You have to find reasons. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I got four more prayers for the day. Like, now putting in that extra work to have that clarity of mind to pray for something intentionally. And I think that's really important because I do believe prayer makes the shift. You know what I'm saying? You are having that communication with the universe, having that communication with God, your creator, however you perceive it, that, hey, these are things that I'm, faithful about and I'm going to put the action into. And this is the intention behind it because I've been thinking about it, been praying about it, been hoping for it, been wanting it to happen, asking you for permission, to pursue it.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know you were getting your Shahada. That's so
I,
cool.
I haven't told many people.
Yeah,
And
no, that's
Because
special.
you
what
know how,
is
because you know my mom.
Mm.
what's a shahada?
My mom is, huh?
What is a shahada?
That's your declaration of prayer. So, okay, you have your five pillars of Islam. So, you got your Shahada. That's your declaration of prayer. Then you got your
Mm-hmm.
Salat. That's you praying 5 times a day.
Okay.
Your Zakat. That's like your offering, but you're giving to a fellow Muslim in need.
Mm-hmm.
You have your fasting, which is Ramadan, and then you have your Hajj, which is your pilgrimage to Mecca, if you can afford to do so.
Mm.
So basically, if you out here buying like designer and Bentleys and shit, but you haven't made your Hajj to Mecca, you're essentially not fulfilling the five pillars of Islam.
You living haram if you're doing that. Like, you're living in sin. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not making it a serious move to go and visit, you know what I'm saying, the Holy Land, then they're like, okay, what you got all this money for? What are you
Mm-hmm.
actually looking for? What is your devotion if you're spending it on nonsense? Honestly,
It's
Mm.
very much centered around submitting to God. You know what I'm saying? Like Islam literally means to submit. So you're essentially just submitting to God. Like it's in some strict like I'm one of those people. I'm more so spiritual than anything. So even though I do, plan on taking my shahada and everything, I'm still not about to be like super like I'm not about to be out here like an imam's wife or no shit like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like so you have like your Muslims, for example. Oh, I gotta refresh my page. Oh
Mm-hmm.
shit. Hold
I could
on.
see you, but it gave me a message said it was messed up. But nah, that's dope. I never knew that
All right, I'm back.
that you practice Islam, Shine.
You
But I
said
guess I
what?
never asked either though.
Huh?
I said I never knew that you practice
I
Islam, but I
don't.
never asked.
I haven't taken my shahada. I'm
yeah,
studying.
your Shahada kind of verifies you.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm
Like,
in between religions right now.
well,
I
So
would you
mean,
have considered yourself Catholic? Were you
I was
considering yourself
never
Catholic? Did you do?
Catholic. We were Christian.
Okay.
I went to
Okay.
Catholic school for the education,
Yeah.
not because we were Catholic. I was never Catholic. I was never. That's why we had to pay. My mom had to pay a higher tuition because I wasn't a
Yeah.
confirmed Catholic.
Yeah,
But
wow.
I never got information either. I never got confirmed. And when I was 8, and they try to like, and then I'm Haitian too, so they usually are very, very strict about Catholicism. When
yep,
I was around 8, they were like, "Do you want to get a communion? Because if you get a communion, you get in a big ass party." I was like, "Nah, I don't want that." And I remember my mom being like, "She's different. Like, she's not gonna want all that shit. Like, she's not enticed the same way as other kids are." Like, I wasn't about to be like, "Yeah, I want to party and I want to wear this dress." I was like, "Nah, I don't want that. Nah." They were like, "What do you mean? You don't want to go to Sunday school?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to do none of that." I was literally asking at that time, like, okay, I was a little obsessed with Spike Lee and Malcolm X movie. So at that time, I used to be like I literally was a kid, like, yo, I got a crush on this man. Like, I want to watch it again. And then after a while, my mom's like, you know, that's not really Malcolm X. And I'm like, what do you mean?
That's what
Like,
Denzel says.
I'm like, who this? Well, who's that? You know what I'm saying? So she really had thrusted me into it. I remember my mom bringing me a magazine with Emmett Till on the cover, and I
Mm.
was like, "Whoa, you wildin'!" Like, I'm like, "What's this?" I don't even
Oh, with
understand
the
how to
body? Oh, nah, sis.
the face.
Oh,
So
nah,
Mm.
sis. I
yeah,
couldn't do that. I
yeah,
had a
she was.
I had a Billie Holiday poster in my room, and when I found out she was on heroin, I told my mom take that shit down.
Take that down. We
And when I
Mm.
can't.
heard Strange Fruit, I was like, definitely take that shit down.
Yeah, no, we. You
Please.
know, I was. My mother was such an art girl and poetry girl and deep. Like I said, when she was, I'm talking about pro black. Like if my mom was born in the '60s, she would have been a Panther. But because she was
Mm.
born in the '70s, she really leaned into her hip hop like empowerment shit. So
Yeah.
she went to York College where Chuck D went actually. So she went to college with him. He was on the campus. She was obsessed with Rakim. So a lot of the lessons that she was picking up were like in intertwining with the faiths and also just black liberation, where it was like, yo, we still fighting for this shit. I remember how deeply my mom was like wrapped into the Central Park Five shit. Like we watching that on the news, she was like, "Oh my gosh, why they doing this?" And I used to be up there like, "Yeah, why they doing this? Like, what's going on?" You know, because
Yeah.
what you see, you know, you really get inspired by what you see. And I made most of my early hip hop was really based around police brutality, like my response to
Mm.
it. So I got like 60 songs that are
Mm.
all about like fuck 12, and that's where it started. And so like I kind of moved through like, okay, let me show a little bit more of this. Let me show some more of my dynamics. But I'm really rooted in injustice too. You know, like
Feel
it's
that.
just a crazy ass world. We got a crazy world we living in. We got to navigate as best as we can. But
And
you
it
know,
should end in no time soon. It's just
I
getting
know, girl.
worse.
It's all about faith. It's all about the hope. You know, I think for you as a black man, I can only imagine what it is on a daily basis.
Yeah.
To really confront, like, yo, this is some normal shit now. Like, it's that pole. Like, it's
Nah,
gonna happen.
I
Like, it
got
don't even
I
be like,
got
oh,
beat
you
Black
up
going
by the
man with
police
to
four
before.
black boys.
That shit ain't cool. Yeah, I got four. I got the police beat me up like a day after I graduated high school.
Oh,
Nah, high school. I was, but see, they used to harass me from the time I was like 13. But it was a normal thing, you know what I'm saying, to get harassed. The same
yeah,
cops
yeah.
that harassed me used to
You
harass
get
my
com-
daddy.
you get complacent almost with it because it happens so often.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't go. I was never complacent with it. See, I ain't gonna lie. I'm a person. I'm trying to tell you, I'm very outspoken, and
mm-hmm,
I'm like that with everything. If I don't feel something, I'm gonna let you
I'm gonna
know.
say it.
And then with me, like they every time I got into it with the police, it's cause I'm not gonna shut my mouth. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But they got on me though, and I sued them and shit. But it's like, yeah, we go through that shit out here too though. You know what
where
I'm
are you
saying?
located, Ted? Where's
I'm
Ted
from
at?
Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah, I mean
Northeast.
it's everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, a lot of people don't get it, but it do be just as present in places that don't have high population of black people because they've already got the mindset that seeing you is an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, why you even here?
Well,
Like they
see,
target everybody.
where a lot of people get the misrepresentation of Portland because they look at the numbers and what you see in the media, but in the neighborhood that I grew up in, it's a high concentration in North and Northeast
Mhm.
Portland. Prior to gentrification, you ain't gonna see nothing but black people, except
Wow.
for like the police and the business owners, and it
Mm.
might be one white neighbor on the block. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different now with gentrification, everything's spread out, but it's like
Yeah.
the black cops would harass you too. They was all Uncle Toms. And so it yeah, I dealt with it,
That should be the word though.
and then the same cops who beat me up, and then a month later they arrested me for something that I did do. But then them same cops later went on to kill somebody else. And so I be thinking of it like that, like one wrong move, and then I could have been that hashtag. You know
fact.
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Y'all might have not even known me,
Yeah.
all because this motherfucker's an asshole. You know
Right.
what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But
that shit is crazy.
yeah, it is. You know, I be trying to teach my boys. You know, they my oldest is 9, the youngest is 3. So I be trying to tell them stuff now because they're a lot more sheltered than what I was. But I know that the time is coming soon for them that they gonna have to start getting outside on their own,
Yeah.
and it's certain stuff like the school that they go to is real diverse, all type of different kids. My son, 2 best friends. One is a black boy. The other one is James' son. My white partner. He was on here earlier with us. And so my kids, they don't fully understand everything that I be telling them, but it's like I still be pushing it to them because it's like when you get outside, it's that's just gonna hit you for real. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I be telling them these same motherfuckers, like I go around and I be with them, and a white person that wouldn't normally speak to me, speak because they see me with the boys, but
Mm.
they see me alone, and then they look at me as a threat or as whatever, And I be trying to explain that to them. It's like, watch when y'all get older and start getting hair on your face like daddy, you know what I'm saying? And they not gonna look at you the same because you're not cute
Right.
no more to them. You know what I'm saying? Now you're a threat, but it's yeah, that shit is crazy though. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the I don't know, man. I feel like though, it is important though to keep the messages up in your music. Like a lot of people, they kind of lose that. You know what I'm saying? That message, like you said, putting that justice out there, shit. And just really putting out the real. Like a lot of motherfuckers only want to talk about killing each other, but not like the bigger picture. Like we killing each other and they killing us, and they locking us up.
Yeah.
Like we'll get
Yeah.
locked up for killing each other, but they'll kill us, and then they'll get to retire early. You
Oh
However,
know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
that's off the
They get
street.
to retire early and they get their fucking pension. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like they eating good too. It don't even be like no punitive action. It just be like, nah, you just can't come back in, or you can work from the office though.
yeah,
But it
for
really
real.
be like,
Ended with pay.
yeah,
Hmm.
like we talk
That's what I'm
about.
saying. They get a vacation. It really be nothing. It
It's
really be
really
nothing.
like, and then I remember, it's like you got people that also they go as deep as like they switch their assets over to their wives. They get to keep everything. They don't get nothing pulled back. Like it's really wild. Like
Hmm.
the response, the legal response is there's no punitive action. Like you getting slaps on the wrist. Like you might be on TV for a little while. Like you might be on our channels where we talking about how wrong it is, but you're not even
Right.
on their channels where they like, okay, well he shouldn't have done this. You know what I'm saying? It's really wild. It's you know, it's telling of the times that we're in and the times we've been in because it's really an extension, obviously, of what we went through before. It
Hmm.
hasn't been no stopping point. It's crazy because you think, okay, being aware that I would say that I was, I know, just being black in America, you know it too. You know that shit from at least 7 years old. Protect yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You peep it, you see it, you start to watch the news. You start to see, the stories in news. It could be your favorite rapper. It could be, a teacher. It could be whoever. But while you seeing it, you know it's wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You like why they did that to so and so, or why is this happening? Or you hear the hearsay from your parents or whoever's around you. So you're aware of this for your whole life. And then you eventually think you want to be hopeful enough to think, okay, well, it's not always gonna be like that. But shit, I'm 34. It been like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
My grandma's in her 70s. It been like that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So it's like, damn, when is it not gonna be like that? I don't know how the shift happens, but I know the shit gotta happen. Like some shit gotta change. It gotta be some type of shift. You know,
Hmm.
I don't know how much impact we have in that. I hope to have some impact in that. That's definitely one of my top causes. As a musician, as a creative in general, I really be like, yo, we're not gonna talk about this. Like, we're gonna gloss over it because now, we've this new era of music has shifted completely over into some like we want to have fun. Fuck it, we not even think about that. Like
Yeah.
we can't, and I honestly I can understand why it's like that because who really wants to sit there just in the trauma? But there
Hmm.
does come a point where it's like there's still reality occurring. Like
I
niggas is not all in the club all night.
I feel like you should be able to like make whatever you gonna make, but like you said, you can't ignore the elephant in the room, especially if it's
Yes.
something that affects you. And
Mm-hmm.
then, because a lot of times, what I notice is like people will say, okay, yeah, when something happened, it happened, and then whatever, and then it's back to business as usual. But we do that too, because it'll be
Yeah.
like, okay, something happened, hashtag, we're gonna talk about it for now. And
And
like,
then
when the
that's it.
last time somebody mentioned Sandra Bland?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
For a
and
minute. It's definitely been.
right, it's like, just another day. You know what I'm saying? But I think though that but I remind my kids all the time though, like, cause I've been out here and I was their age, and like I said, it's one cop, it's a black cop at that. He used to try to get my dad to sell teenagers cigarettes, and my dad would never go for it. The same cop when I got older would try to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? And then I'd be trying to explain to them, it's like, it's fucked up way of thinking, but you know, these motherfuckers ain't your friends. Like, they got a position, but a lot of them is low key terrorists too. You know what I'm saying? But I think though, the best you could do, like, I think it just starts at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got kids or nieces, nephews, you got to kind of start with them, because I might not be able to reach all of the youth in my city, but I
Everybody.
I could
Yeah.
reach the ones that are close to me, and then I
Mm-hmm.
could show them, but I might not be able to save them, no, but I could give them something to take, like you said, to protect themselves, and that protection might not always mean like something physical. Sometimes it's a mind state.
Mind
You know what I'm
change.
saying? So
That's
Yeah.
huge. It's definitely be in the mind. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to have self control because they'll provoke you.
yeah,
For me, I had to learn that world too. It's like even as women when we navigate it, and let's say I go to marches and stuff like that. So I've been at marches and female cops have approached me. Well, I'm
mm-hmm,
like, I'll toss your ass up, but at the same time, I'm like, you still a cop. You still a cop. Like you
mm-hmm,
feds, whatever, whoever you are, and I have to look at you and be like, yo, woman to woman, I'll fuck you up.
right,
But because you here with your whole, it's an army.
right,
You feel me? It's still an army. It's like you got
Alicia.
to perceive the situation and say, let me quell my anger because I'm not here on a personal ego based mission. I'm here for the community.
right,
And being able to separate the two so that you can accomplish something because you're still trying to get a result. Like
right.
when I was in college, I went to FAM. I went to
Okay.
FAM for the beginning of my college career. I'm a bouncer arounder, so I done been everywhere. But when I went to FAM, I spent some time in the Black Student Union and another organization that we created for cultural awareness. Because surprisingly, when you go to a historically Black college, that don't mean that the whole population is aware. You got
Right.
motherfuckers that's just smart. You got motherfuckers that's coming there to party. So I really was like, well, damn, I didn't realize it wasn't going to be a whole bunch of motherfuckers as radical as I am. I was
Right.
hoping for that. I was like, oh shit, it's finna be an army. It's a movement here. Nah, it wasn't like that. So you got people that still are kind of in a Eurocentric mindset. And I know, I was excited to find that there were people that were not. And when I met up with that community, a young man by the name of Martin Lee Anderson was killed by 8 police officers while he was incarcerated in a juvenile, like a rehabilitation center. It wasn't even like a prison.
Mm.
So we ended up marching on the Capitol for it and did like a sit-in. We kind of blocked off the streets. And that was one of my first times. I'm 18, 19 at the time. And that's my first time really seeing the impact that we made just by sitting in the street, dead in the middle of the city. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this shit do matter. They were
Right.
bothered. The cops were bothered. They were like, yo, it's Black students in the middle of the city, like in front of the building. We didn't let no senators, no governors, whoever enter the Capitol. So they standing
Mm.
outside mad in their suits. And we really like, y'all just gonna let this shit happen. Now, of course, the lawsuit came and went, but the lawyer for it was Ben Crump, who ends up obviously going on to represent Trayvon's family and everything
Okay.
like that. But they they gave it to them. Like they was like,
Mm.
no, they didn't kill him. He was acting this way, and he passed out from. They said some shit like I don't want to misquote it, but they said he had his own medical condition, And after they beat him and restrained him, they were like, it's the medical condition that he had that
A
killed him.
second video has emerged of the Baton Rouge, Louisiana police shooting that killed Alton Sterling.
When I'm riding, red and blue lights up on the block, another victim done got popped. When I'm riding, the chances are he young and black, unarmed, and just got shot down by the cops. When I'm riding, I hope somebody pray for me.
Man, I hope somebody praying for me.
When I'm riding,
Pray for this
I
word.
don't wanna end up on the
J-U-S-K-N-O, man. How many lies it take before something shake? We need to band together for our people's sake. Self-awareness doesn't equal hate. I just left a funeral headed to a wake, and I pray to God that I don't see the lies. Young and black, proud because. Step out your car, put your hands on your head, and you bet not move while they go up in the draw. Reach for your wallet, they blasting. Put your hands up, they blasting. Where the dope at, they asking. Sworn in, bashed up assassin. They killing us off by the masses. Melanin equals no passes. You make it out the hood, that's magic. Another brother down, that's tragic. What if every brother said enough is enough? Run up if you really think he tough. Send a bullet through his gun, send a zap through his taser, beat him with his billy club, cuff him with his cup. What if we police the police, but they still promote peace? But they really want beef? If a brother like me said, hey, stop, freeze, get down on your knees, shut you down in the streets.
When I'm riding, red and blue lights up on the block, another victim done got popped. When I'm riding, the chances are he young and black, unarmed, and just got shot down by the cops. When I'm riding, I hope somebody pray for me. Oh, when I'm riding, 'cause I don't wanna end up on the TV screen. No.
Yeah, so much going on in the world, I ain't got enough words for a rhyme or a rap. Mama told me stay up out of trouble, never said that I'd be